Thank you very much. I want to thank you and Senator Bennett for the great job that you're doing with the subcommittee and your staffs. You really jumped in last year and this year and really are making a difference. So, and as always, it's great to be with our fearless leader, Amy. So we appreciate her in all ways. Well, I'm not talking about you, John. Mr. Gordon, as your testimony mentioned, there are more than 44 million homes in wildland-urban interface at risk of wildfire. Can you please talk about how the provisions of FOFA, including allowing hazardous tree removal within 150 feet of a utility right-of-way, can help address this problem and make communities safer? I've heard, in people discussing the bill, they wonder why are things like that in there? Why is that important?
It is very important. A lot of the federal wildfire programs are currently very fragmented, and it can be very challenging for all the individuals and communities and governments to navigate and access all of the wildfire resources. And so it's very important to have the FOFA to coordinate all the stakeholders and resources, support land use planning, adoption of building codes, supporting protection of critical watersheds and water delivery infrastructure. The various programs would also coordinate with the state and local agencies, including for grant assistance. So we think FOFA is very, very important and look forward to doing anything we can to help you advance it.
Very good. Senator Marshall mentioned the categorical exclusions that are part of NEPA and how increased, really ask about increased categorical exclusions, how they effectively help manage our nation's forests. Does anybody disagree with that on the panel?
Not me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yep. Thank you, Senator. I wouldn't say I would disagree, but in doing my research for the presentation today and speaking with those at the agency, categorical exclusions are currently north of 80% of most projects are excluded from NEPA. Categorical exclusions are used and using those to not have to go through the full NEPA process. From someone on the ground at a local level, the concern is that moving further and further away for these larger projects from that community involvement, you start to lose the social engagement and the social license from the communities most directly impacted, and finding a way to make sure that categorical exclusions are handled in a way that is beneficial, but also, and they're a great tool, but I am concerned about the larger projects CEs being used to sidestep some of the good public participation that happens through a full NEPA process.
Are you concerned about the process being so cumbersome, though, that for some of these bigger projects, it's almost impossible to get done just because of the bureaucracy involved and the abilities to play the system in a different way?
Senator, thank you for that. I would respond that, my experience in a rural western public lands county, that participation on the front end has been robust enough that we've seen less litigation. We've seen less kind of playing the system or gaming the system, sir, as maybe you referred to it. And I want to acknowledge that I think that's a challenge to overcome. But I think my position, and as you'll see in my written comments that are much more in depth, the concern would be that by weakening that social license with communities, you'll actually potentially see more litigation and more things that hamstring these projects in the long run by not having that more robust public input up front that NEPA often affords, and at least for my community, I've noticed has been very beneficial.
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed, I think anybody that's been around this at all, is how different forests are managed throughout the country. So, it's great that you've got a good experience and working hard, and everybody kind of gets along, but that's certainly not the case every place.